Hey, everyone. It's your girl, Nicole Dawson. Thank you for coming back with another episode of Pink Radio with Prestige. So today we're going to talk about becoming unstuck. And honestly, most of my episodes are all inspired by either things that I've gone through personally or things that I have recognized that my clients or the members of the Prestige Society has actually gone through as well. So I today share this whole becoming unstuck based on something that I was personally going through with my business. I'll say for the most part, whenever people look at the Prestige brand, whenever they work with me, whether it's through coaching or through the Prestige Society, I would say most people say, Nicole's got her ish together. Nicole understands her brand messaging. Nicole has a pretty tight process around what her organization looks like or how it operates. And one of the things that I will say that is a gift and a curse for me is that I, one, have many gifts, two, have many talents, but as a result of that, I feel like I have very limited time to do all the things that I really want to do. And so and I know I'm not alone in this gift and curse, right? So many of you are listening to this and saying to yourselves, that's so me. There's like so many things that I want to do, so many things that I'm interested in trying to accomplish, and you feel like you have very little time. Yes, I understand the 5 o'clock rule, which is where you get up at 5 a.m. and that gives you more time in the day. That's not necessarily my issue. My issue is that there's so many things that have to be done. And yes, I understand that everything has its season, so I place it in its season according to what I plan out for the quarter. But then I become overwhelmed by the big picture. And when I then kind of take a moment to reflect, to think about, what am I really working on? What am I really doing? I become frustrated, and then I start to get really stuck because in the frustration, I have a pity party for one. Yep, I do it. And in that pity party for one, thoughts, gremlins enter my head. For those of you who are new to Prestige and our podcast, a gremlin basically is this voice in your head that says that you cannot do anything that your heart desires. So the way I usually explain it is saying that you're not smart enough, wise enough, young enough, thin enough, pretty enough, educated enough to do ... And that ... is fill in the blank with whatever it is that you desire. And a lot of us, when we get to this point where we're going to experience a breakthrough, when we're going into a new chapter with our business, we usually begin to hear those voices around self-doubt. There's many theories around who the gremlin may be or what the gremlin may be. The person who created the whole theory around gremlins believes that basically it's you. It's your self-doubt. It's all of the things that you tell yourself to keep you safe and small. Others believe that it's the devil trying to keep you from experiencing, what God has in store for you. Whatever you believe the gremlin is, the reality is that it does the same exact thing to all people, which is keep you safe and small. So safe and small, what does that mean? Because that sounds like an oxymoron, right? How can it keep me safe and small? So what that means is that normally whenever you're going to try something new, whenever you're going to step into a new chapter of your business and go into some new territory, then there is something that desires familiarity. There is something that desires control. So the familiarity means that you understand these chartered waters because this is what you do. It's your lane. It's the thing that you are most familiar with. And so when you move into a space where now it's going to be something new, you lose that ability to control the outcome because you're not really sure what the outcome is going to be. This moving into something new requires faith. this moving into something new, if it requires faith, it also should require meditation and prayer to ensure that you're really moving in accordance or in alignment with what God desires for you and not just what you desire. And that's a lot of stuff to have to process when you are just trying to do something new with your business, or when you have a brand new idea, or when you're saying, oh, I think I really should try these things. And when all of these things begin to happen, when all of these things creep up into your spirit, into your business, into your life overnight, what ends up happening is that you become stuck. You're paralyzed by fear, self-doubt, questioning all kinds of things around your business. And this is the time and the moment where I want to help you become unstuck, because becoming unstuck does a few things, or actually becoming stuck does a few things. For me, I would say it caused really a lot of anxiety and stress. 2021 was very stressful for me. It was stressful for me, but like in a good way. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but there are different kinds of stress. So although there is stress that exists that is bad, that can cause illness like heart attack, hypertension, anxiety, all of those bad things that we do not want in our lives, there's actually good stress that's good for you. So that can make you happy, that can get you excited about trying something new, that can give you that thrill you're looking for. So there's different kinds of stress. But in this case, what I was experiencing was bad stress. And although it was bad stress, it was all around really great things that I knew I needed to take on for the business. So we were looking at, how do we increase or really substantiate the learning paths that we're creating for our members, and really making it something that the members understand. Learning paths are something that it's really the basis of what we do with the Prestige Society. This is why we are dubbed the private school for the girl boss. And what we do for our sisters is that we put them through, or what we've substantiated in 2020 was Boss Academy. That was the first toll gate, if you will, in the learning path that we've created. And so really trying to make sense of what comes next. When you think of a learning path, think of this trajectory or this path where you're really increasing your business acumen with every step, whether it's what we call a 70-20-10 model, where you're either doing something that is going to allow you to exercise functional experience, or something that you're doing with formal learning, or something where you're getting a feedback experience through coaching. So we've implemented all of these different models around adult learning and really put it into the Prestige Society. But we really wanted to make it more known, really make it something that is substantial, that people can see and touch and understand where they're going on their learning path and how that's benefiting them. And so in trying to create that, trying to also make sure that we're still running the Prestige Society for existing members, so making sure that things are actually happening, classes, masterminds, book clubs, making sure that we're still able to have meetups for existing members, thinking of different ways to engage those members. It's a lot, but that's existing stuff, right? Like that's operational every single day, run of the mill for the Prestige Society. But then one of the things we wanted to do was to expand Boss Academy's giving opportunities by partnering with corporations. And some advice that I received was that I really need to create a 501c3. And that made me very, very nervous, because I realized that I really needed to create an entire board around this. And I wasn't sure if I had access to the kind of people that I wanted to be involved with this. And so I struggled with that, but I put it somewhere, like whenever I get into something that seems really overwhelming, because I'm not really sure how big the task is going to be or how much energy it's going to take, I then put it in a place, right? I compartmentalize it. So the place that I put it is also known as third quarter. So in Q3 of 2021, I figured that's when I'm going to really tackle this thing so that it, hopefully by the end of 2021, that could be a milestone. We get this foundation going, but then in 2022, we can really work on getting those the corporate sponsorships or those partnerships to help us in match funding so that we can do more of the seed investments into the women who are going to be able to get it. And honestly, at that point, we'll make it a grant instead of a seed investment. But all of that is just like, exciting, right? Like awesome. And so helping me support this whole advocacy of helping women of color business owners be able to build financially thriving businesses. But nonetheless, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, and it's another thing on the ever-expanding plate of things that I have to do, right? So my plate now is not just full, it's literally spilling and running over. And so I got really stressed out about those things and then trying to manage it all, not realizing how the pandemic has really impacted me because of the simple things that I take for granted in my everyday life. I no longer do. And like now I think I'm at a boiling point. So I sing in church, and you're probably thinking like, oh, okay, well, girls, sing in the shower, get your whole life. There is something about when you are actively participating in a ministry, and that is what God has called you to do. I am not a prayer warrior. I mean, I will pray for you in my own space, but I'm not someone who could get up and start praying and all of a sudden all these emotions overcome you. Like that's not my gift at all. My gift is like singing. Like when I sing praises like for God, like to God, for God, and worshiping and lifting his name, there is something that gives me so much joy. And then the fellowship that I take, part in. So I love being a part of the choir that I'm a part of. I love all of the women and men who are part of that particular choir. We are a family. My church is a family. And doing this all virtual, I did not realize how much it impacted me negatively because doing these things, being a part of that community gave me joy. And so not doing it for almost, you figure March will be a year of not doing these things. So, you figure going on almost a year of not doing those things or doing that thing that's supposedly your gift, that God-given gift that you give back to the world without a price tag even attached to it because this is your ministry. That's something that you don't realize has a negative impact on you until it's taken away from you or until you're not doing it for a number of or amount of time. So I guess, and then also trying to join this leadership program and applying for the leadership program and seeing if I'm able to get into the leadership program, waiting for this interview for the leadership program, not knowing if I'm successful or not in it, and then anticipating how intense the program is going to be. All of these things that are really great opportunities, but they're new chapters in my life where I'm not really sure of the outcome, and I'm not really sure of what this chartered space, chartered waters looks like for me, started to bring a lot of stress. And so I became very frustrated with the process, with me, with understanding what it is that I can, what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to be focused on. I became not motivated at all in any aspect of my life. I really struggled a lot, and it even started to impact my health. So I developed like this really weird twitch on my face, a facial spasm where, when you look it up and you call the doctor, they're like, this is all due to stress. And then that stressed me out because I could not help it. I remember just being so unhappy because I felt like there were all of these things that I did not know what the outcome was going to be. I felt really frustrated that, my business wasn't where I wanted it to be, or that, I really thought that I should grow in this one space, but I wasn't seeing growth. I was thinking that the planner should sell more, because let me tell you something, my planner is bomb.com. Everyone who gets the planner loves the planner, but yet they're not jumping off the shelves. And then here's the thing. When you start looking at why something's not happening, there was nothing wrong with anything external. Everything was about what I was not doing. And so that literally would make me stress out, because I'm like, it's like this really weird paradigm of like, there's work that you need to do. You are not motivated to do it. So now the outcome is stressing you out. And now it's stressing you out to the point where your face is twitching. Like, let me tell you how I am thankful that it is a face twitch and not an aneurysm, or not a stroke, or not a heart attack. And I even today on Saturday, was listening to a program for Go Red. So this is, all around heart health, and, this is the month where we're supposed to all focus on heart health. And so I was listening to this woman's story where she was feeling like she was very anxious, and she was 42, which means she was only a year older than me at the time. And so she basically was having a heart attack, and this particular heart attack is only something I think that shows up in women of color, and it does not show up in EKGs because the vessel that's impacting the heart is so small, or the vein is so small that it cannot be picked up during EKGs, but nonetheless, you are literally having a heart attack. And so, because it can't be detected, you will get sent home. You will be told you're okay. You will have heartburn. You will have anxiety, and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm just really anxious. You're really having a heart attack. These are things that I do not want to put on myself. These are things that I realize that I need to change how I operate when it comes to my business, my life, things that I need to do to take joy and pleasure in, and really just be honest with myself about how I feel and be a better advocate for myself, my health, because at the end of the day, I have a wonderful husband and 2 wonderful children that I have to be present for. And I shared this with you because 90% of you are women of color business owners, and you all are also in a space where you also feel like your business is hitting a ceiling that you can't seem to break through. You too feel like you have all of this talent, but this generational wealth you've been hearing about that your business is supposed to allow you to experience, you may feel like you're not experiencing it, and it's making you want to pull your hair out. You too are feeling like, you know what? I don't feel okay, and I don't know how to get out of it. And I want you to know that you are not alone. I want you to know that together we're going to get through it. Together we are going to be okay, but there's steps that we have to take to get there. I share my story with you today with my face still twitching, but I will tell you that they said that it takes a few weeks for it to subside. So I'm going to have to just love my little twitch. Luckily, it just looks like I have a cute little dimple every now and then, just for a quick second. And it's nothing, major, but at the same time, this is my reminder that everything is small potatoes when it comes to the bigger picture, which is, as long as I am here on this earth, operating in my purpose, helping others, helping women create financially thriving businesses, all the other stuff does not matter. All the other things around, your social media got hacked and you got to start from square one, does not matter. You don't have X amount of members, does not matter. You aren't making 7 figures with your brand and you've been around since 2012. Guess what? Don't matter. So these are the things that I want you to understand, because if you fall victim to what other coaches, business groups, influencers say about your business, they're going to tell you different. They're going to tell you, you should be making 7 figures and you should be doing this. And you're going to stress yourself out living by their standards. You have no idea what's driving them. You have no idea what their values are in their lives. You have no idea when they're home by themselves at night, when they're laying in their beds, you have no idea what they are feeling. All you see is what they're putting out on their highlight reel. You have to make these decisions for yourself. You have to create these standards and definitions for yourself. So together, we're going to work through how do you become unstuck? How do you de-stress? And how do you continue to work your purpose-driven business? So let's jump right into it. Number one, I want you to understand this is just a moment in time. I know it feels like you are in a space that's really frustrating, but it is only a moment in time. When you understand that it's only a moment in time, then you will be able to relate to this too shall pass. It is not a space you're going to stay in forever. You are going to get an aha moment. You are going to get that breakthrough you've been looking for. You're going to get that client that's going to help you push you to that next level. You are going to get there because you have to trust that you are going to do the work. But if you follow these steps, you will get to that next space, but you have to really understand this is a moment in time. What we do just very naturally is we like to get lost in that void. There's something comforting to human beings about sadness and grief and woe is me and a pity party for one. I do not know why, because to me it's super depressing, but there is something where humans hold on to that and they feel very comfortable in that space. Get rid of that, because that's the thing that's stressing you out. That's the thing that is keeping you paralyzed and unable to move forward. If you are in a space right now where you feel absolutely uncomfortable with where you are in your business to the point where you feel paralyzed by self-doubt, please, I need you to tell yourself, self, this is only a moment in time. Okay? So now that we've realized that, and we know that this too shall pass, then the next thing I want you to do is really ask yourself some challenging questions. This is not a time for you to do a whole bunch of busy work. This is a time for you to reflect. So what usually happens is that there's two kind of people when they're feeling this space of like self-doubt. There's the one person who is going to say, I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm paralyzed in my business, but I don't like how that feels. So I am going to create a lot of busy work around my life that is going to distract me from really what's causing all of these issues. Or you have the person that feels frustrated, stuck, and is completely shut down and does absolutely nothing at all. They are just stuck. Nonetheless, when you are choosing to do busy work, or if you're choosing to do nothing at all, that is you not wanting to come to terms with the root cause of what the heck is going on with you. That's just reality. Busy work, yes, keeps you busy, but does not allow for you to grow. And it does not allow you to do the next thing you're supposed to do in order for you to go to the next chapter of your life. It just keeps you busy. It just keeps you distracted. This is not what this time is for. This is a time for you to do some self-reflection. This is the time for you to really sit down and say to yourself, okay, what is it that I really need to do so that I am uber focused on what am I not doing currently? Or what is it that I need to introduce to my life? One of the things I need is I need staff. I need a team of people because I realize that I hold on way too many of my tasks, and it's time for me to move into a space where others can help. So I will say that was first introduced to me in the summertime. I implemented it around September. it's time for us to go ahead and continue with building the team. So really ask yourself, like, what is it that you're not doing? I realized I wasn't doing a good job at sales. I wasn't doing a good job at PR. I wasn't doing a good job at marketing and taking advantage of marketing ads. I realized that I was trying to do everything on my own and that I had to start outsourcing. I realized I was not keeping up on membership dues. I realized there was a large portion of members who were not paying that I had to go ahead and make sure that they were actually paying, because it is their dues that actually pay for the operations of the Prestige Society. And without them paying their dues, then we can't do things like hire individuals to help us grow, hire a staff. And so, those were things where I realized I had to begin outsourcing, an accounts payable team, or trying to figure out how I can actually hire a sales and marketing team, a new business development team, really thinking about how do we position our chapters, because we're no longer having local chapter meetups due to the pandemic. So now the chapters aren't just responsible for recruiting members in their area, they're responsible for processes. But girl, you got to free up your calendar so you can have a meeting, so you can talk to your leaders about this new thing that you have for them. So really, I had to sit and map out all of the things that were stressing me out and seeing how me trying to handle everything on my own was not the answer at all. And so that I needed to really rely on that. Map out all the things that are stressing you out. I'm telling you, you're going to see what the problem is. Once you start writing it out, you're going to be like, oh my goodness. Maybe what you realize is that you start a lot of projects and you don't see any of them into fruition. So all of these unfinished products or projects are causing you a lot of stress. Maybe you're someone who opens a lot of businesses or starts a lot of businesses, but no one understands really why you have all these different businesses that don't have anything to do with one another. So maybe what you need to do is saying, what is your brand messaging? How do you create a narrative that links all these things together? So think about like what it is that you're taking on currently, write it all down, and really spend some time reflecting. The next thing I want you to do is to get a coach to help you. So yes, I am a coach, but if I'm not your cup of tea, find a coach that is. The coach is not here to find solutions for you. If you have a coach that is telling you what to do, that's somebody who did not go through coaching. The techniques for coaching is to ask open-ended questions that allow you to have a self exploration and a self-discovery on what your next steps are. What we find in coaching is that you already know the answer, but there's something holding you back because you don't want to do the thing. So I always equate this to your best friend and how, she dates this guy and he is a whole scumbag. So you can't stand the guy. He's no good for her. He cheats on her, everything. And no matter what, she still stays with the guy. But then he does one stupid thing, like doesn't put the toilet seat down for the 16th time in a row, and she's over it. It's not that she did not hear what you were saying. It's not that, you're not really a great communicator of how this guy is no good for her. The reality is that no one is ready to make the move until they want to make the move. So when we're doing coaching and we're trying to help someone have a breakthrough and become unstuck, I can't tell you what to do. You have to be in a position where you understand that you want to do this. You want to make the next move. You want to do the thing. Because other than that, I'm just wasting hot air. So you have to get a coach to help you become unstuck, because they're going to ask you open-ended questions that are going to get you to see a situation very differently, but that's going to help you come up with the answers that you need in order for you to move forward, or that at least going to, through your coaching time, have you think about what it is you're currently doing that's even blocking you from being able to experience life the way that you would like to experience life. The next thing I want you to think about is you have to do the work required. I've worked with some clients for years and have not seen growth. And I see lots of busy work. I see a lot of, stagnant status, stagnant progress. And 9 times out of 10, those clients are the ones that don't want to do the work. Like, intellectually, they can do the work, but there's something that's keeping them from doing the work. And so if you are going to invest in a coach or spend some time talking to someone that is there to help you become unstuck, maybe you have a friend who's a coach, maybe you have a best friend who is just really able to listen and, just be that sounding board for you, you got to do the work, because there's nothing worse than you going to a resource time after time after time after time after time and not putting the work in, but still wanting to see a result. That's like me always going to my husband saying how I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. And then he catches me with bread and butter or chocolate or ice cream or a donut. Clearly, woman, if you want to have this particular weight loss, then can we please try something different? Because you're driving me crazy with you always saying, woe is me, but you're not doing the work required. So you have to do the work required. You cannot expect someone to just give you the keys and that's it. It's just not how it works. It's through the work that you do that you're able to learn the lessons necessary, build the muscles necessary that will help you have the strength and the courage to be able to get to your next level. So we can pontificate on theories and concepts and ideas till the cows come home. But it's until you do the work, whether it's hiring the people that need to help you, whether it's getting a team that's going to volunteer to help you, whether it's taking your team on a retreat or going somewhere virtually on a virtual retreat so that you guys can brainstorm, so that you can figure out some new solutions. I mean, it's not until you do the work that you're going to begin to see the change. It doesn't happen until then. So definitely be prepared to do the work required. And then the last thing I'm going to say is, take a moment to take care of yourself. Now, self-care is a big thing. And I know people always talk about how it's not just going to the spa. And some people talk about it is going to the spa. Self-care, I will say, is for me, just finding joy in the simple things in life that we just so take for granted, as well as for me connecting with God and ensuring that everything that I'm taking on is of His will and not my will. And so that for me as a Christian is really important. It is really the basis of our faith, is that we want to make sure that we are in accordance to God's will. And so I know that there's a lot of things that are really shiny and new and awesome that capture my attention that I think I have to take on. But I also know that that is designed as a distraction to keep me from whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. So I have to always be in prayer and meditation to help. And whenever I get to this point where I'm really stressed or frustrated, or I feel like I cannot move forward, it's usually because I'm not connected to God. It's usually because I'm not having this time where I'm meditating and this time where I'm connecting with my higher power. So for you, I don't care if your higher power is the twigs, the dirt on the ground. Child, I don't know what y'all out there believing in these days. I'm not here to judge. But whatever it is, you have to be tapped into something higher than yourself. When you are the only source that you're giving yourself the affirmation that you can do it, and you're not enough. I know we say you're enough, but you're not. You need faith. You need something outside of yourself that you can, harness that power, and knowing that you can do all things, but through this higher power. And like I said, for me, it's God. It's me listening to His guidance and understanding, is this something that I'm doing for personal gain, or is this something that you're leading me towards so that I can help others? So really tap into that and spend some time meditating and let Him lead you. And let me tell you, when He led me this week, he led me into doing things that I just really enjoyed, like spending time with my mom and my best friend and my kids. We were like cooking and laughing and having a good time, not stressing over things that I can't control, trusting that he is in everything. He is in all things. Even if I feel like these things are things that I don't want or I don't like, he is in it all. And so really trusting that really helped take away some of the anxiety that I have. But I also understand the work that I have to do. And so it's my job to do the work required. Because what ends up happening is when I'm stuck, I become paralyzed. So the work that I'm supposed to do, I do not do. So please, everyone, make sure you are taking the time to focus on these awesome 5 steps that I just laid out for you, which is just to repeat. 1, understand that this is only a moment in time, so this too shall pass. Making sure that you take the second step, which is really using this time as a time of reflection, not just shutting down completely or trying to fill up your day with busy work. 3, getting yourself some help. So maybe getting a coach, getting, maybe a good friend who is just a really good person that you can talk to and talk things through with. So make sure that you invest in that person so that way you can get the answers through your self-discovery that you need in order for you to become unstuck. Do the work required, because through that self-discovery, you're going to come up with the steps that you need to do in order for you to be able to move forward. And then meditate in prayer, anything to help you reduce anxiety and stress, taking time to enjoy things that are just the simple parts of our life that we normally take for granted. I hope this has helped you. I hope that this brings you joy, brings you peace. I hope it calms down any anxieties that you have. And I hope that you're able to start taking these steps to help you become unstuck, and pray for me that the twitch subsides by the end of this week. All right, guys, have a wonderful, awesome, and most of all, blessed day. Bye.